my neck off, man, before y'all call me sweaty and shit. Granted, it's just hair product. Well, it's just alcohol. All right, so peep game, right? Am I the only one that kind of noticed that albums and the quality of albums is going downhill? The reason why it got brought to my attention, or I even started thinking about it, is because this is a rap channel. I do album reviews for y'all. Or hell, whatever y'all want me to review, right? So whenever the new album drop, y'all gonna be like, hey, T, review this. What you think about it, right? I gotta be able to give my own opinion. And I think with the rap loft, I want to go in a direction to where I don't necessarily want to discriminate against any type of rap album. I want to just bring an open mind and just rate the albums for what they are. But I've noticed for the past like maybe 3 or so albums that I've done, it's not necessarily much there to review as an album. For example, right? I don't got no beef with Ken Carson. I don't got beef with Playboi Carti, right? I actually like them as rappers and I like that style of music. Unfortunately, I had to give Music a 4 and I had to give Ken Carson's More Chaos. I had to give More Chaos a 3. Do I feel good about doing that shit? No, because I genuinely like these artists and I genuinely like that style of music, right? However, as an album, it's ass. Now, it's bringing up a solid question for me whether or not just the art of what an album is dying, right? And I'm trying to get down in my head like the reasons why it could be dying, and that's essentially what this video is about. I want us to talk, conversate in the comments, and try to narrow down why is it as a whole that albums are dying. And I think for me, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But for me, I think I heavily started to see this trend with the Migos. And I think it was either Culture 1, Culture 2, right? It was like 30 plus songs, 2 to 3 minutes each. And it seems like, you know what? Let me drop as much songs as possible on a project to see what sticks on the charts instead of giving a cohesive project. Another example, after that, after the Migos, it was Drake with Scorpion, right? I actually don't have no problems with Drake, but that's another example of like a really, really bloated album with just a whole bunch of filler songs, didn't necessarily make it to the charts. That's what I mean by albums are dying. So I'm gonna give y'all a few examples of like, okay, what exactly are you looking for? Cool. If I say to you, go listen to Good Kid Mad City by Kendrick Lamar, you're getting a solid project from front to back. If I say to you, go listen to what we got up here, YG's project, My Crazy Life, you're getting a story and a solid project from front to back. If I say to go listen to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, same thing. Even if it's not a story, you're getting a cohesive project front to back. Rodeo by Travis Scott, same things, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, unless y'all can put me onto game with some newer rappers and some stuff that might be out there as of this year, the only person that I've seen release actually a decent project front to back, cohesive listen, is gonna be Tyler the Creator with Chromacopia. Even though, between me and y'all, I can't stand this nigga. I hate Tyler the Creator. I don't like his music. But he's the only artist so far this year, I'm just like, you know, at least for his fans, he delivered a decent and cohesive world for them to enjoy via album. For me, on a personal level, even though it's not his best project, Westside Gunn released 12, a decent listen from front to back. What are some other artists they got out there that are decent listens from front to back of this year? I guess I could also say Kendrick's latest album, even though it's not like To Pimp a Butterfly or nothing, it's still, I think it's a decent listen from front to back. But any way you put it, that proves my point. It's just, I think that albums are dying. To try to deep dive on why I think that is, number one is the cash grab, right? I think it's easier to just make a whole bunch of bullshit songs and to see which one sticks because just monetarily it's easier, right? Rather than trying to spend time on an album to make something cohesive just for you to drop it and people to be like, oh, it's trash, skip, and just pass on the album, right? Where if you can try to just make as much club hits as possible, as much mosh pit hits as possible, concert hits as possible. The second thing, I think, is low key the way that one, our generation consumes music, or just maybe our attention span is in general, which I really don't want to blame it on that, right? But the way we consume music, our attention span, so forth and so on. Nowadays, whenever you open up something like Spotify or Apple Music, you have a whole bunch of playlists already curated. So I feel as if these rappers, they know that, and they're not necessarily making a project no more. They're making as much songs as possible just to go on top of those playlists. It could also be a fact that straight up, like, none of these rappers are either one, actually that talented, or two, want to put in the effort to actually make a decent project, make something new, make something fresh, make something, unique, or something even worth thinking about, because it's genuinely difficult. A perfect example of like what I'm saying here would be like Travis Scott's Utopia. Not saying that the album did bad, right? But even me as a Travis Scott fan, I could make a solid argument that Utopia was not his best work. Since Utopia dropped, I haven't revisited the album. I really don't care for it. I don't think there is a single song on Utopia that either one made it to my playlist or I even go back to and revisit. Not to say that the album is bad, but I just don't revisit it. Now, at the same time, at least I appreciate Travis Scott for taking the time, whether it's a year or whatever the case is, taking the time to say, all right, cool, I'm about to sit down, I'm about to write some songs out, I'm about to build a world of Utopia, I'm about to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is needed to deliver a cohesive project for y'all, right? But as a like, it's like literally case in point is he's gonna do that. Then you're gonna have fans like me or whatever that's just gonna judge the album as a whole, say, all right, it's trash, and move on from it. Rather than he could have just tried to make as much club hits as possible, put it on one album. They have nothing to do with each other, and at least two or three songs are gonna hit. The problem with that is now me as a reviewer, it's difficult now for me because oh shit, I gotta rate this Travis Scott project at a fucking 2 or 3 because it's ass. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, I just had to get it off my mental real quick to where I really do believe the art, the album, and everything is dying. And are we okay with the direction this is going? Like, genuinely as fans, like how are we gonna approach this?